What is your most unpopular college football take that you strongly believe in? Like you walk into the party or you text the group chat, you fire off this take and like you know what it's about to be. You know there's about to be smoke to go around for your opinion on this. And JJ got at us on Twitter and he says Texas will win the national championship in 2024. JJ stepping into the ring. Also, JJ, it's worth noting, has a Michigan logo for his profile picture on Twitter. So more power to JJ. Make sure you subscribe. College football every single day. It's a college football community. By nature of this segment we're doing right now, we want y'all a part of it. Being a part of it includes being subscribed. And then follow me on the socials at JD Pakel on Instagram and on Twitter. So what would it take for Texas to win a national title in 2024? You know, I don't think it's wildly outrageous to assume it's possible. I think the first ingredient you're looking at is Quinn Ewers staying healthy, something he hasn't done just yet in Austin. And then you also see him probably take another massive step as QB1 in Austin. Now, last year's numbers, again, he wasn't healthy the entirety of the season, but he threw for 3,400 plus yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks, completed 69% of his passes. That completion percentage number really encourages me because it means he knows where he's going with the football. He's putting it there on time and in the right spot by nature of having a high completion percentage. So that's encouraging. Now, if you're going to make the jump to being a national title kind of quarterback, I think you probably have those numbers somewhere in the range of 3,700, 3,800 yards. I want to see probably 35 touchdowns, and I want to see somewhere in the range of 5 interceptions or less, keep that completion percentage number about where it is. If he's able to do that, that means that he was able to take another step in the offense by nature of what I just said, and the offense is scoring at a really high clip. Because as much as the SEC is going to be brutal defensively for Texas and how they're going to have to stack up in the trenches, we'll talk about that in a second, you have to keep your fastball if you're Texas this upcoming season. And the fastball is going to have to be Quinn Ewers. He has to level up his game with the departure of an Adonai Mitchell and an Xavier Worthy, who accounted for darn near 2,000 yards receiving between the two of them. That's the other part of this. The weapons you got through the portal have to hit the ground running. Hit the ground running, because here's the thing. You don't have a super big acclimation period to work with outside of spring football. You play Michigan at Michigan week 2. Now, to be clear, you can drop that one and still make the college football playoff and accomplish all you want to accomplish, but you'd like to be able to have that be a confidence-building game. Okay, kind of have it be what Bama was this past year for you. Light the fuse, create the belief. We're off and running. Let's go. The key thing here that I'm looking at is the ability for Texas to reload in the trenches defensively. Because listen now, Quinn Ewers got a lot of love, and he should. Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy got a lot of love. They scored a lot of points, and that should absolutely get a ton of the headlines. But I think Texas was a force last year because even with Quinn Ewers out of the lineup, that defense was stingy, and they were stingy at the defensive tackle spots. You had not one, but 2 All-Americans lining up for you. T'Vondre Sweat, Byron Murphy. They're both gone to the league to get a paycheck. God bless them for it. As a defense last year, Texas allowed 2.9 yards a carry, one of the best averages in the country. They're going to ask some more now of these new individuals going to be playing more snaps. Alfred Collins, an older guy. They're going to ask more of him. Sydir Mitchell, going to ask more of him. So if the defensive line can keep some continuity with the output they got last year on that side of the football, and the offense does what I just told you it needs to do, and Quinn Ewers takes that next step and stays healthy, I think we have to reevaluate how we talk about Steve Sarkisian. Because right now, the narrative around Steve Sarkisian is great offensive mind, really good head coach, no way around it, but great offensive mind, great play caller, quarterback whisperer. That's why Arch Manning came to Texas. But if they win the national championship and do what I just said they could potentially do with how they would reload on the line of scrimmage defensively and how they could have those weapons translate, we talk about Sark as a great builder. I'm not just talking about builder from like a culture perspective. I'm talking about from a roster perspective. To be able to go to the portal and to develop the guys already on their roster and put them in position to be successful to a national title level, that's not just play calling. That is CEO. That is modern college football 101. Retool your roster and go win yourself a natty. Like, we changed the way we talk about Steve Sarkisian from a macro level if they get that done in 2024. Now, speaking of macro level, man, think about what this would do for Texas on the recruiting trail, brother. Because, I mean, if they go into the SEC year 1 kick down the door, win a national title. Texas and the way they would recruit, they're already recruiting at a really high level, but I think it would probably translate to a top 3 class in 2025, just the way that I feel about it. I think it also emphasizes for them as a brand, like, you are that school in the state. And they're kind of that way right now because of the fact that they made the college football playoff last year. But to build off of last year and have a national championship banner to add to the rafters out there in Austin, I think that would communicate a lot to recruits and say, okay, if you want to play in the biggest games, if you want to play in national championship games, you come to Texas. Again, that's the narrative then that you would be able to pitch if you get that done. Also, with all the recent coaching movement from this past offseason, with Jim Harbaugh gone to the Chargers and Nick Saban retiring, I think we're kind of at a point in college football where we're almost reshuffling the deck a little bit in regards to how we view that tier 1 level of college football. Like, I think Georgia's probably up there. Not probably. Georgia's up there because they won 2 of the last 3 national championships, so that's worth something. Ryan Day and Ohio State probably deserve to be up there, but like the skins on the wall aren't necessarily what you had at Michigan or what you had at Alabama. So who else is in that tier 1 category? I think if Texas gets it done this upcoming season and wins it all, I think you put Texas in that tier 1 category. And at that point, moving into the Arch Manning era in Austin, I think you operate from a massive place of power. Like, Texas at that point, I think, is able to really, really lay the foundation or build on the foundation and start to build up from that foundation they've created over the course of the last couple seasons for Steve Sarkisian and for that team in Austin. So will it happen? JJ says it's an unpopular take for him in the group chat. We appreciate him swinging his sword and shooting his shot. I think there's a will and there's a way for Texas to win it all in 2024. But, of course, we'll give you our predictions when we get a little bit closer to the season. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.